And now we move to the last format of the EU Foresight stream. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage Mr. Dan Cimpean, General Director of the Romanian National Computer Security Incident Response Team. Sir, welcome to Cybersec. It's good to have you.
So much, Michał. I hope you can hear me well. Thanks for inviting me.
Have accumulated over 20 years of experience in cybersecurity, working at the intersection of both public and private institutions in Europe. Surely during that time you could observe how the cybersecurity threat landscape evolves. So I wonder, when you look at some of the most notorious cyber attacks that we have witnessed recently, the SolarWinds, Hafnium, do you see anything strikingly novel about those attacks? Do they change the way we think about our cyber defenses?
The short answer is absolutely. They change completely our mind and the way we approach the cyber defense. Because we are facing this time highly evasive attackers. We are facing a supply chain type of attack, which complicates the things. By default means you have to defend a much bigger attack surface, of course. You need to coordinate much better across the entire supply chain. And nevertheless, these attacks that we observed recently in the last couple of weeks and months, what was striking regarding them was that they were executed with an unprecedented, I dare to say, professionalism and level of preparation. So the manner they were prepared, the manner they were executed, and also the long time from the moment when those attacks were apparently launched up to the moment when they were detected, and up to the moment when the community of cyber professionals started to react, to coordinate with the suppliers, to coordinate between the CERT teams, to coordinate between the network of researchers that were looking into this. So it's really showing that something has changed in the paradigm. And we must behave differently. We must be prepared for more sophisticated, better and better prepared such type of attacks that will be executed with highly professional teams, super knowledgeable, very well funded, and that had quite a lot of time to prepare. So on the other side, we must do pretty much the same, but in slightly different manner compared with what we are doing today.
Thank you. So you run the Romanian National Computer Security Incident Response Team. Romania, as we know, forms the EU's border to the east. And although we often repeat that there are no borders in cyberspace and cybersecurity actors do not care for political or geographical borders, is there anything peculiar to the threats that you have to deal with due to that fact? Is the EU's eastern border in cyberspace in any way as exposed to threats as the political and the geographical border is?
To be very honest, I think that is something particular, in particular to the eastern border of European Union. So what we note, and when I say we note, it's my organization discussing, coordinating, aligning with other cybersecurity competent authorities in Eastern Europe countries. What we noted is that the level of test to our capabilities, to our capability to react, to our capability, why not to say, to prepare and to respond, if the case, to such attacks, to such incidents, this capability is continuously tested. We see this being done systematically. And what we noted, especially in the last 1 year and a bit, in particular during the pandemics, the number of those attacks targeted towards not only Romania, but many of the countries in this region increased significantly. many of them from pretty much the same type of attackers that we noted, state actors that we noted and we identified and we documented and that we know based on the attribution work we did. Some others from new type of actors that probably they try to test a bit, as you say, the border of the European Union, the eastern border. The bad thing is, however, that now we have a kind of 360 degrees border, each of us individually and collectively. So nevertheless, we have to look in all directions and be prepared and try to detect and react very fast to any such external test to the European Union cyber border.
Thank you. And how do you see the role of CERT specifically in building Europe's digital resilience, but also enhancing Europe's cyber posture?
So the CERTs, I must say, as organizations, we must really be very active. We must support the other actors, whether they are economic actors, technology companies, governmental bodies, and so on. We must support them to do an honest and fair review of their own resilience capabilities. We must push and promote the right frameworks, the right guidelines, the right type of assessments in order to allow all the others, in particular, to assess where they stand, how resilient they are. Not to give them let's say, a false sense of comfort, of security, but to challenge them continuously, to help them being prepared, being trained, and to test their, let's say, stated or real achieved level of resilience in this respect. So it's quite a lot of activity that CERTs can do as coach, as let's say, exercise partners for a wide variety of organizations. And I really believe that we must be the most active actors in this landscape that shall test, and verify the level of cybersecurity resilience that we all want to achieve.
Thank you. And also, as we all know, in December of the last year, the Council of the European Union has chosen Bucharest as the seat of the European Cybersecurity Competence Center, the ECCC. How does it, in your opinion, contribute to building of the overall Europe's digital strategic autonomy, and what is the significance of that fact to you?
So, first of all, obviously, I'm super proud, myself and my organization. We are super happy and proud that Bucharest is going to host the ECCC. And for all of us that are looking forward, whether from Romania or from other member states, looking forward to see this center operational and active, we all have to realize that, first of all, this center will massively contribute, will inject and will inject funds, will launch programs and projects and initiatives on cyber research, innovation, on direct industry support, on cybersecurity awareness, and so on I dare to say, a scale that is totally unprecedented at the level of European Union. So such large investment with now a dedicated European agency for this purpose, it's something super good and new. What I truly believe that this center will really help, will really help Europe to have choices in order to support its own ambitions and goals of digital strategic autonomy. So thanks to this center, and not only, thanks to the member states that will, I hope, will co-finance, will support directly, and will match, why not, euro for euro, the activities and the programs that will be financed by this center. Thanks to this, I truly believe that Europe will have more diversity of technological choices, will have better cybersecurity and better cybersecurity programs at a level that is at least regional. I choose carefully my words, not only national. So we must move to the next level, to the next steps. So all in all, at the end of the day, we'll have better capabilities, because this is what we need: choices, capabilities, and better cybersecurity baseline, better cybersecurity ambitions in order to support our digital strategic autonomy goals.
You highlighted choice, and I believe choice is really the essential part of strategic autonomy. So it's about having the choice and being able to choose. But I wonder, with those concepts that we have been debating today in great extent, so strategic autonomy or digital strategic autonomy, digital sovereignty, what are the other key features of digital sovereignty, especially for Europe, that you can point to?
I think we need to a bit more, let's say, realistic in terms of our current capabilities, our current profiles, our current status in terms of digitalization on one hand, in terms of course, cybersecurity in general. One extra feature that I wanted to highlight in addition to choice and stuff like that, I think it is really, really important that we assess and we measure more frequently where we stand. There are all kind of, as you can imagine, assessment, viewpoints, analysis that is performed either by European Union bodies or by the member states. But at this moment, I think the manner we assess must increase in frequency. We must measure. We must measure much better, much more frequent, and be a bit more strict with the manner we present ourselves, our results, our achievements. My honest opinion is that obviously much more can be done. We should not rest on our laurels and consider that fantastic work was done, many programs were successful at European level or national level, but we should really aim for more. We should increase our ambitions and our targets significantly if we want to keep the pace with other geographies, with North America, with Asia Pacific, etc. But obviously, assessment, higher ambitions. I think that's a key characteristic of the new digital sovereignty that we all love and we want to push forward.
Thank you. So I'll ask one last question. With the proliferation of cyber threats and with the increasing level of interdependency that we can see in how our world is digitally connected, it may seem that some of the traditional dogmas of cyberspace and cybersecurity are no longer feasible. For instance, the thought that we should raise boundaries, create a perimeter within which what we will put will be secure against the external threats. Perhaps we should face the reality that those threats will not be eliminated. They will be with us always. And rather than focus on raising cyber walls or digital perimeters, maybe we should focus on managing the scenarios and bouncing back from the attacks once they happen. Would you agree with this statement?
Totally, yes. And I must say we should do even more. We should accept risks, because many of us, many of the decision makers, the European Union member states in general, we are kind of risk adverse. We don't like risks. I think we should embrace those. We should know them, properly assess them, and evaluate them. Work with the assumption that a cybersecurity crisis, which probably will be actually a hybrid crisis, so combined with other categories of crisis, this will happen at European level, at the member state level. We should live with the fact that cyber attacks and threats are there and they will stay there forever. They will increase in level of complexity, sophistication, in the impact they will have, etc. But we should not give up without being dramatic or pessimistic or panicking. We should just work with this, be flexible in our approach, assess the risk in a dynamic mode, prepare proper responses, and as I said, actually take more risks, because that's the only way in order if we want to, let's say, to move forward with the digitalization, the accelerated digitalization that will happen whether we like it or not. And this, of course, comes together with higher, newer categories of risk, some of them that we are not simply aware of at this moment, like the examples that the other speakers gave extensively regarding risk on the supply chain with hafnium and the solar winds and so on. So accept risks, embrace them, accept crisis, embrace them, but just let's try to be prepared, build capabilities as well in order to be able to respond, and do all the efforts and all our best, and train ourselves and our teams in order to be resilient as organizations, our society, as economy, and recover as fast as possible after each incident. Because this will come, those incidents will be there. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Thank you. Thank you for your insightful answers. And I would just like to use the opportunity to mention that Cybersec has many friends in Romania, and we are very much willing to tighten our cooperation in upcoming months. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to a break and be back with you at 2:12:20. Hope to see you all there again for European Commissioner for Justice Didier Reynder's keynote on the most valuable strategic assets of the digital world, data.